Hey guys, JHub here, bringing you a MOAB gameplay on the map Bakaara. I'm playing Kill Confirmed, but I'm also using a setup that I typically don't use when going for MOABs. Typically I use, say, something with extended mags, or silencer, or even both. But today, I'm using an ACR silenced with a thermal sight. The secondary I'm using is the MP9 silenced. The equipment I'm carrying is a portable radar and a Simtex. 3 starting perks: Scavenger Pro, Quick Draw Pro, and Dead Silence Pro. Then I move into the specialist with Sleight of Hand, Assassin, and Recon. Those 3 perks I have basically found so far is the 3 perks in the specialist that I prefer to use, especially if I'm going for MOABs or I'm using assault rifles. Recon will help light them up and whatnot, but I would not suggest going for MOABs with a thermal sight. Yes, it can turn your gun into a type of laser, like L86 for example. If you put a thermal sight on that with possibly a grip, you can literally turn it into like a weapon, say the ACR from Modern Warfare 2, where there's very little recoil and spread, and you can just bullet hose people and take them out with 3 shots. But I would not personally suggest it. Many other people might like it. It wasn't as bad as you would think it'd be. There are about 5 or 6 guns that I actually like using thermal on when I want to use it. That being the FAD, the M4A1, the AK-47, the SCAR, the L86, and this ACR. I had been testing out and leveling my weapons up, trying to figure out what would be the perfect setup, or I was just trying to get the weapon challenge done where you gotta like use the red dot for a certain amount of kills, use a thermal and whatnot. But at this point I decided I want to try to get a thermal ACR MOAB. I'm going to try my best. So this gameplay is going to be a bit more defensive. I'm not going to be rushing as hard as I would say with the submachine gun, but I do rush a little bit. I come into situations where I'm running against assassin guys, which sometimes makes me think that might be my teammate, so I got to watch out. So I try to stay with my team sometimes. That way I know they're around me, so if I'm aiming at a guy, more than likely it is the enemy. Because when you're running with a thermal sight on your weapon, the enemy using assassin is like the worst thing you can come up against. It really will throw you off, because when you have assassin or assassin pro, you don't light up on the thermal sight. Kind of like Cold-Blooded from Modern Warfare 2 or Ghost from Black Ops. It does get annoying, especially when you get into lobbies where over half the lobby is using assassin. I'm glad though people who are using assassin are more running around than they were previous, because previously most of the people you'd see with like Ghost or Assassin, Cold-Blooded, things like that in all the previous games would typically be in an area non-stop, not moving, or be in a corner just waiting people to walk by. I've had a ton of kill cams to where I've seen people hiding in the corner. But like I said before, putting a thermal sight on a weapon can turn it into a laser. The best example for this is the L86 LSW with a grip and thermal sight, especially since they have buffed the machine gun damage to where they are a 3-shot kill, except for the M60 where it can be a 2-shot kill at close range. Putting these 2 attachments on that weapon makes it into a very deadly gun, especially if you can set up in the right part of the maps where there are choke points and you have just pinpoint accuracy. You can take these guys out so fast it's not even funny. I have already gotten a MOAB with that weapon. I didn't record it because it was more defensive than this gameplay. Thermal sight should be used defensively. I don't see why people should rush with these things, because it can screw you up pretty fast. It's not like a red dot where it pulls it up extremely fast and you can actually see around you. Instead, the thermal sight kind of blocks out a good portion of your screen, only allowing you to see a certain area. It's kind of like a sniper rifle when you aim down sight. You basically have to have that target in mind when you're going to shoot, or you're going to be searching for him quite a while, because he can actually get away from you, especially if he has assassin. But I think a good perk to go along with thermal, even though I didn't use it until I kicked into the specialist, would be marksman. Because you are using a scope that is made basically for long range, it'll help light the people up. That way you can get them killed faster or notice them better. There are some weapons that you would not want to use a thermal sight for. Primarily the machine guns, other than the L86. I think I've tried a couple of them and they're not as good, it seems, for some reason. Most of the assault rifles you don't want to use them for. The only ones that I would suggest is the ones I've said previous, which were the FAD, the M4, AK, SCAR, and the ACR. The rest of them, it just didn't seem to want to work for me. I don't know why. Maybe it would work for y'all. Depends on the person, I guess. But I guess with the AK-47, the reason why it works on that gun is because when you're using the AK-47 with just its iron sights, the noticeable recoil is worse than the actual recoil. meaning it kicks up for some reason, whereas your bullets aren't going at that same rate the gun is kicking up. So when you throw on a thermal sight, it kind of looks like it's turning into a laser, but I think it's actually showing the actual recoil of the gun. Also, I would suggest not using these on snipers. I know y'all may have different opinions on these, but in my opinion, I think the snipers are best in this game without a thermal sight. Because when you're looking downrange in a sniper scope situation, you don't want to miss a guy who's running assassin, because that will throw you off, especially the way the players blend in with the backgrounds already. Assassin on a thermal sight will just be normal. He'll blend in a little bit more and it'll be harder for you to actually hit him. So I suggest not running these on snipers at all. Submachine guns, a couple of the submachine guns are decent with them, but you gotta remember at long ranges the bullet damage drop off is pretty high, so you're gonna have to put in extra bullets. So I really would not suggest using a thermal sight on submachine guns, even though they might be good medium to close range. When you get into far range situations, you're going to be used to using them on, say, assault rifles or LMGs, that it's going to throw you off pretty bad. It's probably going to end up getting you killed. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope y'all have a little bit better insight into thermal sights, what you should use them on, what you should not use them on. Make sure to subscribe if you have not already. Other than that, peace out.